Hi, it's Charlotte, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. So for today's video, you might have noticed that I've recently done a huge beauty makeup haul on my channel, and I sort of wanted to split that into two testing videos, as I wanted to test the Dior Skinglow foundation alone, like by itself. I usually find, like, personally that I prefer people testing out foundations without testing out other products, because I feel like they can get in the way, especially when it comes to foundations. I think it's like one of the most important products that you really want to get the perfect shade, the perfect formula. So I prefer it when someone's solely talking about the foundation, which is why I'm reviewing this without using any other new products. I basically just wanted to try this foundation for the longest time. I just love a glowy dewy foundation, and that's what I'm expecting from this. So yeah, if you would like to see a review on the Dior Skinglow foundation, then please carry on watching. So this foundation retailed for £37. It's called the 24-Hour Wear Radiant Perfection Skin Caring Foundation. It's 30ml and I got this in the shade 1N. I was conflicting between 1N and 2N. I don't know about anyone else, but usually, like, if I can't find my perfect shade, I do prefer to go slightly lighter rather than slightly darker. I always would rather bronze up than have to use loads of concealer, if that makes sense. There is a chance this could be slightly too light, but I don't mind because I'll just use a lot of bronzer. One thing I noticed straight away is how heavy this foundation is. Like, I've never held a more heavy foundation. Oh my god, I almost dropped that. I love Dior beauty packaging. I just think it's so luxury, and it's like we've stopped playing with kiddie makeup now. Here's the adult makeup. I don't want to say it's like boring packaging, but it is like basic and luxury. This is the bottle, which I absolutely love how, like, simplistic this is. I'm pretty sure it's glass. Feels like glass. Can't be completely sure. And then in silver writing, it's got Forever Skinglow on the side, and it's also got the Dior logo on the top of the cap. It says on the back SPF 35. Now, I don't usually look for SPF in my foundation, but I've been seeing a lot of videos recently where people are talking about, like, it being super important for SPF to be in your foundation or just to be wearing SPF every day. I'm definitely not someone who puts on SPF every day, so when it's already in my foundation, it's kind of just like a little helper. It says, offers a radiant finish, complexion appears flawless and even, and the pores are tightened. We'll see about that. I am going to do half my face with a sponge. I've got my Morphe and Jeffree Star sponge here, and the other half with my IT Cosmetics foundation brush. So I'm going to see which one I prefer. I don't know which one I'm going to prefer, because I feel like if I'm using like a tinted moisturiser, I love using like a brush, and then the more full coverage it is, the more I prefer using a sponge. So I guess it just depends on the coverage of this. I can't seem to find anywhere what the coverage is for this foundation. I don't know if I'm being blind, but I can't see anywhere it claiming what coverage it is. But maybe that's them being clever so that no one can prove them wrong. Who knows? Little pump. Love it when it comes with a little pump. I am going to prep my skin just a little bit using the Ciate Watermelon Burst Primer, which I've just recently bought, and I've been absolutely loving this. There we go. So I think I'm going to start off with the brush, and I'm just going to pump one pump onto the back of my hand if it wants to come out. Oh my god. Tell you what, that one pump looks like quite a lot. Okay, so my first impressions from using the brush is that I don't know what coverage I want to call this. Like a light to medium coverage. I feel like it's not a huge amount of coverage, but I feel like almost this side of my face compared to this side is sort of like blurred and smoothed over. It doesn't look like foundation is sitting on my skin, or it just sort of looks like this side but perfected, if that makes any sense. I think I chose a really good colour and it blended in really nicely with the brush. Yeah, nothing else to say about that for the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and do another pump on my hand and try it with my sponge. Okay, so that's done with the sponge, and I feel like from far away, I mean, I feel like a lot of people say this when they do sponge and brush comparisons, but from far away you really can't tell really a difference at all. The only difference I can tell when I look up close, a bit like down here, I can tell on the brush side has gone a little bit patchy, and I'm not too sure why. Whereas on the sponge side, I feel like it looks completely flawless. I can't see anywhere where it's patchy or hasn't been blended. So I mean, I don't know if that was my fault, but I definitely can see an area down here where it's a little bit patchy, and I don't know if it's just because obviously brush hairs, so it can get a bit streaky sometimes. I've obviously only done one pump either side, but I would say for me, this is a medium coverage. I feel like I'm not the best person for testing this because I'm just like a light coverage gal. So the reason I feel like this is a medium coverage is because this is usually a bit more coverage than I would wear on a daily basis. I kind of was expecting it to be a bit dewier and glowier. It's a bit more dewy and glowy. Not that this foundation is matte by any means. It is the least glowiest foundation I think I have in my collection, and I was kind of hoping it would be up there. I'm happy with the coverage, I like the way it blends out, I just do wish it was a bit more dewy and luminous, but I suppose you could just put like a radiant primer underneath. That's probably what I will be doing. You know, I spent the money on this, so I'm going to be using her. And then I'm just going to quickly compare this to the Fenty Hydrating and Luminous Silk, not because by any means any of them are comparable, but just for like the dewy and luminous glowy factor, if you're into those kind of foundations, which is why I bought all of these foundations. I think this one's my least favourite out of all three. The Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk has got to be my favourite at the moment. I just think that one I was just so happy with the finish and how like dewy and luminous it looked. The Fenty Hydrating I also really love, but it's a bit more if you want a lighter coverage, almost like a tinted moisturiser. And then this one is really good coverage, and I think it does look really beautiful on the skin. I just wish it was a bit more glowy. Yeah, I thought I would just mention that in case you are looking for your perfect dewy foundation like I was. Right, so I've just gone ahead and put the rest of my face on. Yeah, and everything seemed to blend fine on top of the foundation. I actually am liking it a little bit more now. Maybe I was being a bit too harsh. It actually looks really nice, and it's actually quite nice to have a bit more, oh, this sounds so silly saying a medium coverage foundation, but a bit more coverage foundation that still looks natural and like my own skin. Like, it does not look like I'm wearing foundation. It also looks super flawless, which I think is said on the packaging, so good job Dior. It is pretty flawless, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I really like this. It is 11:30, so I feel like I am going to do some little mini check-ins throughout the day. I didn't do this in my last foundation review as I was filming this in the night time, but as it's the morning, I will do that, and yeah, we'll see how this foundation lasts. Right, so it's about 7:30 now, so it's roughly been about 8 hours. I've basically just had lunch and just been chilling all day, not really done a lot. Surprise. But I just thought I would talk about the foundation after 8 hours. I actually think this foundation is looking really good, and I'm not just saying that. Around my nose, I actually can't see any sort of like dry patches, and I usually get them around here. I can see it sinking a little bit into my smile lines, but it's not like crazy, like not enough for me to think like, oh wow, that's bad. My under eyes is also looking like super smooth. I know I didn't put like a lot of foundation there. Overall, my face still looks completely like flawless and smooth, and I'm really happy with that. I definitely have some other high-end foundations that don't stay this well for this long, so I'm really happy with this. I am sorry it's only an 8-hour review, but if I'm going to be honest, I never wear a foundation really much longer than that. I feel like if it's good for 8 hours, you're good to go. So I'll just give you a little bit more of a close-up. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I actually think it still looks really good for 8 hours. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this foundation review, and that if you're maybe considering it, that maybe this video helped you a little bit. I kind of just wanted to also give you some comparisons if you were looking for a dewy luminous foundation, so which is why I was comparing it to the Fenty one and the Giorgio Armani one. Yeah, if you'd like me to do some more foundation reviews like this in the future, then please leave me a comment down below. and tell me which ones you want to see. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!